So I think my official position on this is pretty great name, horrible spelling. That's where I'm going to go in. Top line reaction to what we're going to talk about tonight, folks, which is quad, or as normal people would say, pronounce it as they look at it, quote. Should have been an extra O in there if they were going for that. And Mike pointed out pre-show the QU is obviously tied to its lineage. This is a very quakish, a scaled down quake feel, less dithering, less gradients, but still pretty quakey looking in terms of both gameplay and appearance. That sits on under 64 megabytes, not gigabytes, megabytes, which is ridiculous. So what did you had sent me
Thought
the
it was
link?
kilobytes, wasn't it?
Oh, I'm sorry, I said megabyte. Yes, kilobytes. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you shot way higher than me.
Yeah, that was like, well, that shouldn't have been that hard. So, it's just crazy. So super small bytes, really tiny ones, 64 of them. Shouldn't have been able to happen because I believe Quake was larger than that, if memory serves. And so pretty amazing.
So I don't know how big the Nintendo 64 version of Quake is, but the largest Nintendo 64 cartridges during its original lifespan got as high as 64 megs. And
Okay.
Quake was not on one of those cartridges. So Quake and Quake 2 are both less than 64 megs.
Interesting. But yeah, it's crazy. Now, we're going to include a link to another video on it so you can kind of check that out. A link to more kind of on the developer side of the equation, which will also include an easy way for you to download the executable, either uncompressed or compressed, and just have at it. And it's not a long download because it's not very big. And I highly recommend, after you've thoroughly listened to this video, perhaps twice or 64 times, just to honor Quad, then go check it out because it's hella cool. So, I know you sent me the link. What are your thoughts on it?
So I mean, anytime we can look at something from like a homebrew developer or indie developer, I'm super excited by that, especially something that's in our wheelhouse. These kind of, as the kids call them, boomer shooters, these kind of Wolfenstein, Quake, Duke Nukem, Doom world of shooters. And then the 64 kilobytes was really interesting to me because if you guys don't know, we're a little bit of a micro homebrew operation ourselves. And particularly in the Slapdash family, the four different versions of Slapdash for Game Boy and Game Boy Color, each of those is 64 kilobytes. And then the NES spinoff, I can't remember how big it is off the top of my head, but I believe it's like 128 or something like that. So yeah. So I was like, how did they do this smaller than Slapdash?
Yeah, the sequel or the NES accompaniment to Slapdash. That you built that with a builder app. So those almost invariably are not the most efficient, as opposed to the crack coding crew that did Slapdash, who really could accomplish a lot with a little there. So yeah, it. I downloaded it. Couldn't even get through a full segment of Hard No, the world's shortest podcast. Every episode under a minute. Check that out if you get a chance. Soon to be on Podbean. We're getting there. I've done some things to get close, but check out Hard No. But you're not even gonna be able to get to a full episode through a full episode of Hard No before this thing downloads.
No,
And
in fact, I downloaded it twice by accident and didn't even care because it's so small. It doesn't matter.
yeah, so it. I mean, what I was really surprised about. I mean, I think obviously a really adept developer can kind of come up with a system that's going to let you replicate. What I know, I always felt Quake from a visual standpoint was kind of a standout, and so it's very reminiscent of that. It's not as sepia tone saturated, which I'm cool with. I don't mind that this one kind of goes to a brighter palette, if you will. And sure, it's not the resolution's not quite the same on the enemies and all that type of stuff. But the gameplay is bang on as far as I can say. But the music's not bad for it. And I just really would have thought that would have had to have been a place where you truly had to skimp to kind of make it all work out. But they figured that out too.
Yeah, audio in games is something that's tough. And again, I'm no programmer. We do our micro homebrew thing, but I mean, I know enough to know that audio files take up a lot of space. So, and especially when you're doing something that's influenced by Quake, music was something I was very curious about with this because Quake has, in my opinion, one of the best video game soundtracks. The original PC release is a Nine Inch Nails soundtrack, which you can get on vinyl and Spotify and all that as well. It was actually the first soundtrack that they did. They've now won Academy Awards for that twice. So for soundtracks they've done, so that's their whole thing now, basically, is movie soundtracks. And that's where it started, was that game soundtrack. And then the Nintendo 64 version has an Aubrey Hodges score to it. So he does great work too. He's known for his Doom scores and things like that. So I mean, the music of Quake is excellent. So I was very curious to see where they went with this, and I do like the music for it. It's obviously it's not going to compare to Nine Inch Nails or Aubrey Hodges, but it is good. I do enjoy the music to it. The audio is solid. What's interesting? So you mentioned the color palette. The color palette reminds me more of Quake 2, which had a more overtly like science fiction kind of theme to it. But the level layouts themselves are very similar to the first couple levels of the original Quake. So it's kind of a little bit of a mix of Quake and Quake 2 in that sense. But what did you think of the gameplay itself?
So I liked it quite a bit. I thought the gameplay was okay. It I got through the first level, and when I finished the first level, I said, "Now there's the exit." I was like, "Well, that seems kind of quick," but it's a 64 kilobyte game, so it's not going to be this gigantic, expansive level like you will get with the Doom 2 WODs that are available on Bog Panda Vision on our site. So they aren't quite as expensive as that. But I mean, I liked the gameplay, and it may have just as usual on these things, it's operator error on my part. But as I came up finishing the first level and got to the exit, I'm like, oh crap, there's some other stuff I need to check out. But kind of coming up to that, there was an elevator. I think it kind of took you down and went in there, and I was unable to find a mechanism to let me get back on that elevator and go back and retrace my steps. That's, like I said, could be operator error, but the biggest part was the level just finished pretty fast. I was enjoying every moment of it, but it didn't take long for me to kind of get to, oh, I'm ready to go. And like the number of, there's not as many enemies to kill on a level in particular, and so it was very speed runish for me in terms of how I usually meander helplessly with no sense of direction through levels on Doom and Quake. I got done pretty quick, but actual gameplay, I thought pretty good. I did think that the AI for the monsters or enemies is not a forgiving AI. is
No, they
they
see you
can
right away, come right for you.
Yeah, they lock in from a distance, and if they can do projectiles, they have excellent aim. I mean, in Doom, you can count on a miss or two. Not here. What do you
No,
think of the
and
gameplay?
I actually really like it. It's simple. I mean, there's not tons of stuff going on, but you can climb, you can jump, you can climb up on boxes to get to a couple of extra areas and things. To Kelly's point, I mean, the levels are very small, but again, this is more of a tech demo of can you do this within the confines of 64 kilobytes. And not that I'm any kind of special programmer, but it's very impressive given that the four Game Boy Slapdashes are all 64 kilobytes in themselves. And that's seemingly a much more simplified game than something like this.
Now, the question is, do we do a Panda review on this sometime?
I think we should.
I think so. Okay, we can do that because we obviously both have the gaming experience with it from there. Yeah, that
Yeah, I was
was
going to say this isn't even really a listed buy it because we both have it
yeah,
already.
yeah. It's a teaser for a future Panda review,
Yeah.
and maybe a palate cleanser on some of these other Panda reviews we're going to have coming up here shortly, which I apologize in advance for, but more on that later. But yeah, I think, and so a bit of a spoiler where I think this is going to score well for me. With the one area that might get a little bit of a ding is the controls, in that they were not, they were pretty, I mean, it's pretty standard stuff in terms of keyboard navigation on using that, which is the way I typically do the boomer shooters is keyboard navigation, the way God intended to play these games. But
It's
I
what
went in,
Jesus died for.
that's right. Jesus died for your keyboard. But the water, which is one of the really cool, when Quake came out and you were doing stuff in the water, it was like, oh, this is pretty great. I had getting in the water and diving down and finding things and navigating horizontally great. Then I was like, I'm probably running out of air. I should go up. And I really had to scramble because it I eventually figured out, oh, I mean, to rise to the surface, I got to hit the space bar instead of, I couldn't just, because you've got that ability to look up, down, left, right, like you do in Quake versus like original classic Doom. But the, so I was looking up at the water surface going, go, go, and hit straight. And I was just continuing on my horizontal plane. So it just, mild panic, but I did start to button mash till I said, Space Force a shot, worth a shot. And that got me up and out. And it also was lasting a pretty long time as I stumbled through that. So I'm assuming you run out of air, which was always in Quake the creepiest sound effect to me was when
Yeah,
you
you do.
started.
You definitely do because my health bar did start to drain as I was exploring underwater, but it's forgiving the pace that it goes at.
Yeah, and it probably doesn't give you, because I had to, in the amount of time I was there, I had to probably be dropping. But in Quake, it lets you know visually and on from an audio perspective to say things have begun to go bad for you, and to maybe have to adjust. But so it's just a slight thing on that. But really cool game. So we recommend checking it out. We'll have links, like I said, where you can learn a little more about the game and how they accomplish this pretty amazing feat. You can download the game, check it out, let us know your thoughts as well.
Yeah, it's
Anything?
available on itch.io, which our games are as well as on the Bog Panda site. So it's all kinds of places you can get our games. But definitely pick up QUOD. I think it's going to be a fun Panda review to do. This will be our first PC game, won't it?
Yep, sure will. So eventually we'll get to the PC Doom because we're going to try and do all Doom and its many ports. But yeah, this will be our first PC game. Cool.
Doing some Quake games should be fun too.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm not so sure about Heretic and Hexen, how high I put those on the list to do a Panda review, but I definitely want to get through Quake, Quake 2, Quad, and the Doom family.
The real question is, we are we going to do the Nintendo 64 Quake 2? Because for anybody who doesn't know, it's actually a completely different game than PC Quake 2. It's all its own original levels.
Which is kind of like Doom 64, right? Kind of the same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think we'll have to get that as well. So many more things to come, folks. Best way to stay on top of things, so when when these new things come out, is to subscribe to the Bog Panda YouTube channel. We would appreciate it if you did that. Leave us a comment, leave us a like, share the video. Let us know what you'd like to hear us talk about. We'd really greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. You definitely want to climb on top of Kelly and
Thanks for watching, everybody.
I. Thanks, everybody.
Bog, Panda.